Good morning, guys. Well, how's it going? Thanks for making it out to the first day of Devconnect. Woo! Just a bit of an origin story for Devconnect. The research team from the EF reached out because DevCon hadn't happened for a while, and there was a lot of work that had been done in the community, etc. They wanted an opportunity for people to get together and to kind of have an opportunity for people to collaborate, etc. So the idea came up to have more technical events happening in a city where people could kind of come together and collaborate. The idea was to make it more of an unconference type situation where there were very limited events with individuals that would be the best fit for that conversation. And from there, the idea kind of ballooned, and now we're at a situation where there's over 150 events happening simultaneously or this week. So it's amazing to see the community come together and create something that hasn't happened in the past. So congratulations for being a part of the first perhaps annual Devconnect, and then we'll see where it goes next year. So it is an event on the road to DevCon. So DevCon is the big Ethereum conference that used to be an annual basis, but for the past 3 years, we've kind of been in deadlock trying to figure out when to do it. And it will be happening in Bogota this year in October, the week of the 7th to 16th. For more information, you can go to devcon.org. There will probably be a new website and information going live after Devconnect at some point. So basically, DevCon is more structured as far as a conference, whereas Devconnect is basically the decentralized and the distributed sister event at this point. If you do want to learn about the side events and other things that are happening during the week, check out Amsterdam Blockchain Week. So the Devconnect site on purpose doesn't have any side events or anything to do with social events. That was something core to what we wanted to accomplish this time, was to get to the technical individuals and people that actually want to collaborate and actually work on something useful. But obviously, if you're coming to a city, there's going to be side parties, et cetera, or Rawway, or Divinity, or whatever you guys are trying to get exclusive tickets to this week. But I think there's going to be a lot more opportunities. Now, obviously, we're going to try to create more opportunities for you to collaborate at the co-work space, which is a big part of Devconnect this year. So I don't know if any of you guys were fortunate enough to get tickets to that. But maybe I have one or two, so whoever catches me first after the event might get one. Aside from that, there's individuals like Preet. He's putting out an event, I think on Tuesday evening. So I don't know if there's any tickets available. That's a designer-focused event. And hopefully more of you guys, if you guys have the facilities or the opportunity to create more opportunities for us to kind of get together and carry on these conversations the rest of the week. There's also ETH Amsterdam happening at the end of the week. I'm guessing they're already sold out, but that's another opportunity for you guys to kind of get together. So one of the key things is this is an unconference, so it's participant-driven. The value that you'll get out of today is basically what you put out there. So it's not anything that's top-down organized, and there's really no team behind it. It's basically kind of facilitated this. I've been doing this for the past 4 or 5 years in the community, self-funded. I usually get someone to kind of sponsor the venue, take care of everything else, and then give you guys the opportunity to sit together and collaborate as much as you can. So there's really no basis behind like Web3 design. It's a community that was started maybe late 2017 when there were a lot of UX issues happening, but there wasn't much community around there. So a few of us in the community kind of created a Telegram group, but it's become a bit stale at this point, so we're probably going to try to revamp it, move to Discord. So if you guys aren't in the Discord community, please join, and we'll try to create more working groups and more opportunities for UX conversations to start happening again in more of a working group style. So a lot of things did come out of those working groups in the past. Identity was a big thing back then, Wallet, Connect, et cetera. Those communities kind of grew out of those conversations that were happening in those days. So yeah, basically these unconferences have happened around the world with the support of individuals and organizations that kind of just sponsor the venues, and there's no shilling, there's nothing expected from those individuals at these events. So that's why you'll find no swag here. You won't find anything that's going to be kind of organizationally suggestive as far as like what we should be thinking about, et cetera. So it's happened in DevCon, it's happened at the Web3 Summit, it's happened at ETH Berlin, it's happened at ETH Waterloo, et cetera. So the goal is to kind of just get more opportunities for us to get together. And it's not only designer focused, it's to get the developers, get the researchers, get the academics into the same room and actually talk about the UX from the bottom up. So that's like something that Sasha will be talking about, is like how do we have those conversations where all the parties are getting together and actually collaborating rather than just being a designer in one room and just researchers in one room, et cetera. There's only one rule, is I've got no shill. So anyone that comes up here, says their name, doesn't really highlight their project, but basically states what they're working on and the problem that they're trying to solve. I think that's something key that we can try to adapt to this week as well, rather than saying, hey, I work for this organization. When you're meeting individuals, talk about the problem that you're trying to solve, and then kind of move on from there. I keep pressing the wrong button. So what happens when you shill? We shame you, Game of Thrones style, throw tomatoes at you, and kick you out the door. As far as the breakdown of attendees, as I was mentioning, design is not the largest population of the individuals in the room. There's a lot of engineers, there's a lot of product people, there's a lot of researchers, business, marketing, academics. So when you guys do get into working groups, please make sure to leverage all the different viewpoints that could be valuable into those conversations. And the other thing in these events is it doesn't matter what project you work on, what experience you have. If you want to add value to and you have something to say, we'll give you the opportunity to do so, especially like even the lightning talks, et cetera. These are not individuals that you will usually see on the main stage at big conferences, et cetera. And the lightning talks have been kind of kept short for that reason, is to just give you the ideas of what we should be thinking about and then give you the opportunity to discuss them in more details in the working group sessions. As far as the different working groups that people are interested in creating, there is a lot of interest in user onboarding. So I think a few key individuals that will be kind of leading that will be maybe the ETH.org team and a few other individuals. There's a lot of interest in signing with Ethereum, layer 2 DAOs, surprisingly. I guess if I put NFTs, that would have been a big one as well, but I'm a bit biased as far as what we should be focusing on our energies on. Multi-chain wallets, which is huge, I think. So I wish we had more opportunities to get Arbitrum and Optimism to come in today, but I think we have 1 or 2 individuals from Optimism maybe coming in, or Arbitrum. But I think the bridging and then the layer 2 and then the multi-chain wallets are going to be a huge concern for us moving into the next year. So that's interesting. I thought staking would be a bigger interest as well, but apparently not. So we'll figure it out. So another key thing is like who's driving the narrative for Web3. So it's definitely not Elon. It's not Jack, or at least we don't want Jack to be doing it, and it's definitely not this guy. But it's something that we need to be really careful about because the incumbents are kind of taking the vision of Web3 and kind of driving the narrative forward, whereas we should be the individuals that create the solutions and create the narrative moving forward, whereas the media is going to obviously focus on these individuals. So I think having brainstorms and ideas around like how do we get people into what Web3 means, what decentralization means, and what actual UX issues are around that. So what is the actual overhead for a person to actually be participating in the system? So if I did like a show of hands, how many people are actually running some sort of node or staking in any type of ecosystem right now? I'd love to see some hands. So that's just, I'd say maybe like 15% of the individuals in this room. But as we kind of move into something about like data ownership and actually controlling some of these services and so forth, we don't want these individuals to come in, create the better UX, make it more useful, and then kind of take Web3 away from us. And we were actually having a conversation the other day, and someone brought up, I think it was Josh, who is one of the organizers for the event, that open source software is just marginally worse each time. And he was wondering why that was. So I think there's no reason it needs to be that worse. Like, people are willing to give up their freedoms, they're giving up their privacy just for that marginal improvement, and we can probably do a better job of improving that ecosystem as a whole. We'll be creating some sort of takeaways from this sessions in the working groups in the evening and in the afternoon, so people can kind of collaborate and have these conversations afterwards. I think Mel will be helping kind of create some sort of a structure for that. And then we do want at least each of the working groups to have a scribe to take these notes, because there's limited space in this venue, and there were a lot of people that wanted to participate in these sessions. And we get excited with these events, have these conversations, and nothing really comes out of it afterwards. So we do want to create an opportunity for people to collaborate, at least in the co-working space, at least for this week, and then moving forward from there. So let's try to create some value and take it from there. Let me quickly go over the schedule. Yeah, so I think any UX talk usually needs to start with what is a wallet. We've been doing this for 5 years, and each time we have someone talk about what is a wallet, and I think the fact that we need to do this again is necessary. Then there will be some lightning talks. Basically, each individual has 5 to 7 minutes to give a lightning talk. After that, Liggy will yank them off the stage. He'll give you 2 minute, a 30-second, and get off stage. We'll take a break right after Colfax, before Georgia, to take drinks, have some snacks, because we don't have too many breaks, so take advantage of that. We've paid for the whole day, and we want to make sure we utilize the resources. So 10 minutes, come back into the room, and then we'll get started with the lightning talks again. And then I've left an opportunity for some open mics, but we might end up having to cut one at least. So if anyone has any topics that they really wanted to talk about, or get inspired by the rest of the talks and want to come on stage and talk, they have the opportunity to do so. We'll take 20 minutes to kind of grab lunch, and then maybe come back into this room where we'll have some sort of a fishbowl, where we'll have 4 different topics, each given 15 minutes. So one will be Web3 onboarding, one will be user research, one will be decentralization, and then one post-merge Ethereum or L2, et cetera. So basically how that works is 4 individuals get on stage. Anyone wants to come in and talk, they just tap one individual off, and then you kind of just go in that session. Around 2 o'clock, we'll have the open mic working group session. So if anyone wants to create a working group and lead that, they can get on stage and kind of pitch that. And by 2:30, we'll be in the actual working groups and working, collaborating, et cetera. And then by 5 o'clock, we'll come back into this room, and hopefully each of the working groups and the scribes will give a small presentation, 5 to 10 minutes, about what they discussed and some key takeaways, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. Thank you very much.